9 p.m. in RTD's Time to English edition. For tonight headlines, we have Head of State chairs the 13 councils of ministers. For the international scene, Kenya and United States signed a defense agreement for the missions in Haiti. Welcome to our newsroom. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, Head of Government, the 13 sessions of the Council of Ministers took place this Tuesday, September 26, 2023. Listen to the acting spokesman of the government, Hassan Omar Mohamed Burhan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sous la présidence de son Excellence, M. Ismail Omar Guelleh, Président de la République, chef de gouvernement, a eu lieu mardi 26 septembre 2023, la 13e séance du Conseil des ministres.
The first question, bill approving the financial account of CF for fiscal year 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. The Minister of Urban Affairs has presented the financial account of the CF for the 2022 financial year to the Council of Ministers, while at the same time regularizing the financial account for previous year. This 5-year process of regularization is to be congratulated with the high-quality accounting documents and a healthy financial situation under the new management, which has improved the company's bottom line. CF financial account for the 2022 financial year show income of 992 million. Income rose by 20%. They will rise from 824.9 million in 2021 to 992.4 million in 2022. These revenues are made up of income from rental sales and sales of serviced plot, operating expenses including payroll. Other operating expenses will account for 84% of total expenditure in 2020, compared with 71% in 2018. Financial expenses, meanwhile, were done representing 80% in 2022 versus 29% in 2018, thanks to a restructuring of debts with the banks. CF's borrowing and similar debts that fell by 13% from 15.14 billion in 2018 to 13.20 billion in 2022. These debts mainly comprise those contracted with the state, mainly land in the process of being developed, and with international lenders, debt on former society development. Over the past few years, the company has made up a number of balance sheet statements revaluing these assets and correcting the amount of a long-term investment. The purpose of the draft decree is to create an electronic edition of the Journal Officiel de la République. The Journal Officiel de la République is there for 4 official information media that have themselves undergone a long evolution. The Journal Officiel du Protectorat de la Côte Française de Somalie, dependence first appeared on February 8, 1900 and created ended in 1906. The Journal Officiel du Protectorat de la Côte Française de Somalie was created in 1906 and ended in 1920. The Journal Officiel de la Côte Française de Somalie was created in 1920, ended in 1967. The Journal Officiel du Territoire Français des Affaires et des ISA was created on July 3, 1967, and ended on July 3 in 1977, and from in 1978 and 1986. Since 1986, the official gazette has been published every 2 months, and since 2001, the official gazette has been published in both official languages, Arabic and French. Publications of these 4 official gazettes was mostly from 19 and to 1985 and fortnightly from 1986 to be up to the present day. Since 2001, the official gazette has also been published in Arabic. The aim of the platforms are to contribute to improved access to legal information, current legislations and regulations, national conservations of the archives, not to mention its considerable savings in terms of times and paper. It is in this context that the present draft decree comes into play. It will create an electronic platform for the publication of laws, decrees, orders, administrative acts, and other notices. The publication of legal and regulatory texts as well as administrative acts is ensured under conditions that guarantee their authenticity. Lastly, the digitized journal official initiative is part of the drive to improve the quality of the law and more specifically to make it possible to disseminate the rule of law almost instantaneously and to consult it at any time, anywhere in France and beyond our borders in order to bring the administrations closer to the people it serves. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf draft decree appointing the member of board of the directors of Al-Wasatiyya Institute and the Culture of Peace. The present draft decree aims to appoint the member of the boards of directors and Al-Wasatiyya Institute of Cultures of Peace in accordance with its statutory provisions. The institute mission is to optimize the skills within the religious community by implementing initial and continuing training programs for imams and preachers. The adoption of the draft decree is intended to complete the institutional framework of this structure. As Minister of Youth and Cultures, the first question project instituting the Salon du Livre de Djibouti fixed the modality of his organization. The draft decree institute the Djibouti Book Fair project that is part of the New African Dynamic and its literary influence, which consisted in adopting an annual event on the national cultural agenda to promote books in all their dimensions and linguistic diversity. The objectives of the Salon du Livre are, among others, to be an open space for the exchanges of experience and expertise between all players in the book chain, to be a moment conducive to the promotions of reading, writings, and development of the book and the publishing industries, and to enhance the national documentary heritage. The book fair programs is organized by the Ministry of Cultures and supported by the National Agency for the Promotions of Cultures and its department with the help of a General Commissioner and Organizing Committee. The draft decree defines the operating and organizational procedures for the fair book. The Ministry of Justice, the fifth question is draft decree appointing magistrate. The purpose of this draft decree is to appoint 12 judicial auditors to the École Nationale des Études Judiciaires. These magistrates have completed their 18-month theoretical and practical training period at the end of training assessment. The aim of this project is to recruit and appoint the first class of auditors of justice named after the late Abdurrahman Sheikh Mohammed, the first president of the Supreme Court. The following are appointed as a magistrate of the judiciary: Madam Muna Yusuf Umar, Miss Hafsa Ahmed Bahdoun, فتحية إسماعيل عوالي، ماتيلدا مجيب ناصر، أنستيح بني عبدي، أنيسة الشيخ إبراهيم، حمزة باري آدن، سعد إسماعيل عمر، هيبو علي محمد، مريم محمود حج علي، ياسين سعيد إلتري، مريم إفراح شريف. The Ministry of Work and Formalizations and Social Protection. The sixth question, draft decree and appointment. The following are appointed: Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, Technical Advisor to the Minister of Health; Dr. Omar Mahmoud Ismail, the General Director of the Center for Centre Hospitalier Universitaire; Mohamed Ali Mohamed, Secretary General of the Ministry of Health; Dr. Hassan Abdurrahman Ilmi, General Manager of the Center for le Centre d'achat des médicaments et des matériels essentiels CAM; Zahra Moussa Bouh, Director General of Healthcare, Ministry of Health; Nima Moussa Ali, Director of the Organes de Gestion de Portefeuille de Projet, Ministry of Health; Barre Mahmoud Barre, Director General of Human Resources, Finance and Training, Ministry of Health. Communication: the Prime Minister reported on his official visit to Havana and his participation in G27 Plus China Summit held from September 11 to 16, 2023. At the end of the official visit, the Djiboutian Prime Minister held talks with his Cuban counterpart and the President of the National Assembly, as well as with the head of the Department of External Relations of the Communist Party of Cuba. Discussion is focused on bilateral cooperation and relations in all sectors, including health, sport, national education, and agriculture. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament reported on the first visit of the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd James Austin, to Djibouti on September 24, 2023. Discussion is focused on cooperation and strategic partnership between the two countries in the field of security, defense, and development. The Minister of Higher Education and Research gave a mission report on the Mediterranean Future Act 6 forum held in France from September 2022 2023. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf reported on the official visit of the Djibouti delegation to Mogadishu from September 13 to 16, 2023. The purpose of the visit was to take part in the screening of a documentary films and an evening commemorating the Arta Conference, a historic moment in the Somali reconciliation process. The Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity made a statement on her visit to Yoboki following the damage caused by the bad weather of September 3, 2023. A strong delegation is led by the Prime Minister Ali Hassan Badon and comprising the Minister of Infrastructure and Equipment, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, the Minister of Interior, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Environment, the Minister Delegate for Decentralization visited Yoboki, the capital of the sub-prefecture, to assess the situation following the bad weather. The aim of this mission was to identify households affected by the bad weather in order to provide them with the necessary assistance and also to allocate to the 15 social housing units provided by the Ismail Omar Gelle Housing Rights. Social housing units provided by the foundation is a total of 200 food and non-food kits, mattresses, kitchen utensils, and were distributed to 115 affected families, and the home identified as damaged will receive building materials to help families find decent life space.
Soutenir les familles afin d'avoir un espace de vie décent.
We have a statement from the Ministry of Interior where the Minister of Interior announces that Wednesday, September 27, 2023, will be a holiday with pay. This holiday corresponds to the birth of the Prophet. Taking this opportunity, the Minister of Interior extends his best wishes for happiness, prosperity, and peace to all Djiboutians, as well as to the foreign community resident in the Republic of Djibouti and all Muslims world. Like the rest of the Muslim world, tomorrow, Wednesday, September 27, 2023, the Republic of Djibouti commemorates the anniversary of the Prophet's birth. This celebration takes place every year on the 12th days of the month of Rabi al-Awwal, the third month of the Hijra calendar. To mark the occasion, religious and cultural evenings are planned in various districts of Djibouti City, as well as in the main towns of the interiors. These events will be hosted by preachers and mosque imams. The evenings will emphasize love for the Prophet, the importance of commemorating his birth, participation in the events and activities of these occasions, and the Prophet's virtues. Speeches will also be given on the lives of the Holy Prophet and the importance of the rejoicings on his birthday, inspired by his messages and the light that shines during prophecy. Prophetic birth is a symbol of humanity. The Minister of Youth and Culture is Dr. Hiba Mumin Al-Sowi took part yesterday in the official opening of the Conference of the Ministers of Cultures in Islamic World Cultural Being held in Doha, Qatar, under the theme of this 12th edition towards a renewal of cultural actions in the Islamic world. The program focused on the orientations of the cultural development. Several items on the agenda were adopted unanimously. It includes in particular the needs to rapidly implement the new guidelines in order to keep pace with the sustainable development, as well as the integrations of the new technologies as a means of boosting the cultural and creative industries. These include the integrations of new technologies as a means of boosting the cultural and creative industry, innovations, and the creations of sustainable jobs for young people, the preservations of traditional knowledge by upgrading the studies of its stakeholders and the perpetuation of ethical values while putting in place appropriate knowledge transfers mechanism, the role of education and cultural researches. In her speech, the minister praised the new visions of cultures thanks to the enlightened leadership of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. And finally, she shared with all participants the Republic of Djibouti's cultural agenda, including the forthcoming second editions of the National Book Fair. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf kicked off the workshop of the fight against female genital mutilation is under the patronage of the Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf Women Hassan Barre. Major regional meetings took place this morning at the Hotel Campus Key under the theme Contradictions of Harmful Practices with Sharia Principles. It aims to fight against female genital mutilations. The meeting is organized jointly by the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and United Nations Population Fund offices for Arab regions. It aims to fight female genital mutilation. The meeting is organized jointly by the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and UNFPA offices for the Arab regions. The minister opened the meeting by warmly welcoming the participants and praising the works of the ulama who have worked tirelessly to fight as practices that runs counter to the principles of Islamic Sharia and leave serious and lasting consequences on the lives of the women and girls. The meeting was marked by participation of eminent scholars from Al-Azhar University, as well as the active role of the Al-Azhar University's International Islamic Center for Population Studies and Research. The in-depth debates and exchanges during this event are intended to generate crucial recommendations for eradicating these practices. In his speech, the minister expressed his thanks to the service developing the Minister of For his part, the Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf, Mumin Hassan Barre, thanked all the participants for their dedications and wished them every success. The minister addressed the issues of the female genital mutilations, which is associated with the customs and traditions but has no solid religious basis. He underlined the negative effects and practices and awareness and convincing people to abandon female genital mutilations altogether. He noted that the Department of Muslim Affairs has been actively engaged in this effort since 2008 in close collaboration with the UNFPA, and praised the progress and made by the contributions of the Khamikhat networks and the ulema committed to the abandonment of the practices. He also aimed at reducing the damage caused by these practices. On the last day of the working visit to China, the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Yunus Ali Ghedi, and his accompanying delegations visited a number of important sites in the field of power generations and salt processing in Weifang, Yantai, and Shanghai. First of all, the minister and his delegations visited the Hewang Industrial Park in the city of Weifang, where salt from Lakasal is processed into sodium bromide, half of which is used in China to meet the domestic needs of local households and industries made in Djibouti in China, and others half exported worldwide. The minister and his colleagues then visited the 100 megawatt photovoltaic power stations in Weifang in Yantai. The minister made a point of visiting one of China's largest salt byproduct processing plant owned by Wanhuan Chemical Group, which will now become the main buyers of salt from our country. The second day of our major event on single windows opened up exciting new perspectives on how these systems can revolutionize trades and stimulate economic growth. World-renowned experts gathered to discuss the potential benefit of single windows and their impact on global economies. On the central themes of the day was trade facilitation. Participants delivered into the heart of the matters, exploring how single window systems can simplify customs and regulatory requirements, speeding up the flow of goods across borders. Concrete examples from countries from that have already adopted these systems, shown with that cutting red tape can significantly boost international trade. Logistics performance was also a hot topic of discussions. Experts analyzed how improved transport and supply chains efficiency through single windows can have a direct impact on economic competitiveness. Optimizing logistics flows has become an essential element in ensuring the fluidity of international trade. This morning at the Sheraton Hotel, the Ministry of Women and Family organized a workshop to revitalize the multi-sectoral technical committee on early childhood development supported by the Play to Learn project. The workshop was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Women's Affairs, Anissa Hassan Bahdoun, and attended by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Mohamed Abdallah Mahayoub, the USAID representative in Djibouti, officials from the Ministries of Women's Affairs. The workshop brought together all stakeholders working and active in early childhood development education is to discuss ways and improving collaboration between all partners. The overall aim of the workshop was to revitalize the multi-sectoral technical committee with a view to making the PSNED fully operational. The Idris Farah Habbani Police Academy in Nagad today hosted an end of training ceremony for over 116 police officers trained in first aid. The ceremony was presided over by the Director General of the National Police, Colonel Abdurrahman Ali Kain, the National Director of the Civil Protection, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud, the Commander of the Fire Brigade. Over an 8-month period, police officers from various departments were trained by firefighters at the Police Academy. This training will enable police officers to acquire the knowledge to intervene effectively in the event of accidents or medical emergencies, whether road accidents, fires, crime scenes, and natural disasters. The French Embassy's internal security attaches and several senior officers from both institutions took part in the ceremony, which was held at the prestigious Police Academy. After a welcome short film illustrating the various learning sessions was shown during the 8 months of training. Participants acquired the necessary techniques through real-life situations. This training will enable police officers to acquire the appropriate skills to intervene in emergency situations. The ceremony continued with the presentations of diploma to the 116 recipients trained in the first aid techniques and what to do the event accidents while awaiting the arrivals of emergency services, followed by the exchanges of gifts and the traditional group photo in the presence of all learners and officials. For his part, the General Directors of the National Police, Colonel Abdurrahman Ali Kahin, emphasized the close collaboration that exists between the two institutions. For his part, the Commander of the Fire Department, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud, reiterated the needs for these life-saving and extremely important training courses. for the international scene. The United States and Kenya signed a defense agreement on Monday that will provide the East African countries with the resources and support for security deployment in Haiti. Kenya is set up to lead a multinational peacekeeping mission in Haiti to fight gang violence. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Kenyan Defense Minister Aden Duale signed the agreement at the meeting in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. The agreement guides the two countries' defense relationship for the next 5 years as the war in East Africa against the Al-Qaeda-linked extremist group Al-Shabaab intensifies. Kenya has pledged to send 1,000 security officers to Haiti to fight gang violence as part of a mission that is awaiting formal approval from the United Nations Security Council, but has received support from the United Nations and the USA. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.